So here we got Matty Clarke from Peninsula.
And now for our
MMA
next
team
fight of the evening.
versus Pablo.
Fighting out of the blue corner, weighing in at 78.1 kilograms, a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, fighting out of Australia, B Team and Peninsula MMA, Matt Clarke! And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, weighing in at 78.4 kilograms, a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, fighting out of Chile, scrappy MMA, Pablo Torrealba!
And Mikhail, we are about to get underway. Pablo Torrealba up against a very impressive Matty Clarke, training out of B Team. Recently, he just completed the seminar, Jim, so I got to see him in action firsthand, and I was very impressed, particularly with his game from front headlock.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that he's really passionate about, something that he talks about pretty often. From getting to know him a bit more, I start calling him ADHD Matt. He goes from topic to topic without breathing.
Yeah, a very enthusiastic man. I felt like I know him for years. I don't know what that says about me, but we were best friends by the end of the day, which I was very into. And he's up against a really interesting opponent.
A veteran. Yeah, Pablo's been around just as long as me. Like, a long time. Like, we've come up the ranks together. Yeah. He's been a couple divisions heavier. Super elusive guy and like a really hard guy to submit.
Yeah, he is. He's very well rounded. He's constantly learning in the game. He never stops learning, does Pablo? And
beautiful single leg.
Yeah, he's a serious competitor as well. He never shakes a challenge, does Pablo?
No, he's always down to throw down. Yeah, that's what I like. Him and I have had a match. He beat me, but it was probably one of the funner matches I've ever had.
Yeah,
in fact, a lot of the matches I've lost have been the funner ones.
Have been the ones that you've enjoyed, yeah. And sometimes that's the way it goes, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Because we both came after each other, and that's his style. He's starting off pretty slow in this one. I expect it to increase in pace as time goes on, though.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that once he gets on top of you and he sticks to you, he's very, very difficult to shake off. But, Matt's ability to pressure will be interesting because Pablo is very, very good at, avoiding that pressure, but Matt prides himself on his finishes. So it's an interesting thing. And where I think we'll see is if Matt's able to pass his guard and then keep control. I think that's going to be absolutely critical here because Pablo is just so
hard guy to control.
He's a hard guy to control, absolutely. His body is in great shape and he's able to replace himself and put himself in positions.
That's looking very composed though with this passing.
Yeah, and you can see, he thinks deeply about his game and see that he's dedicated to it, And I think for me, the big thing here for Matt is, can he impose the style of jiu-jitsu and the positions that he wants, or will Pablo be able to dictate the flow of the match? And I think that for me is where the key points are going to be.
I think at like the high level, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
Right? Who's ever dictating what's going on is typically going to win the match unless you get caught along the way.
Yeah. Pablo really happy in this bottom position right now. He's got a really good chunk of Matty's ankle. He's I
remember when rolling with Pablo, the kind of awkward thing about him is that he's awkwardly strong.
Yeah, he's very strong.
It's like you don't expect it from somebody quite lanky, but he's got that tensile strength.
Yeah.
And a funny thing about Matt is also similar. Like, he's got like mitts for hands.
Yeah.
Some people don't know this, but before he took jiu-jitsu seriously, he was actually over 100 kilos.
Yeah.
He's got the
big
weight
boy strength.
behind him. Yeah.
The big boy strength, yeah. No, I know what I mean. And the thing is, with Pablo, you're right. Pablo used to fight MMA at 70 kilos, and it always amazed me to get down that because his strength is really good. But I think it's testament to somebody who looks after his body, somebody who takes care of himself. And Matt Clarke putting on that ankle lock there. Pablo not seeming too concerned, just fighting the leg controls.
Pretty bendy guy, Pablo, from memory.
Very bendy, very flexible. You've got to, if you're going to put a submission on Pablo, it's got to be on and really on. Otherwise he just works through it.
I threw the kitchen sink at the end. It was like a 15-minute match, and I was exhausted at the end. I was so tired from throwing subs at him, and I couldn't submit him.
He's got a way of making you work, and that's the thing. But I'll be honest with you, I don't think that's going to be any issues for Matty. I think he's battle tested at a very high level now. His last notable win here was a submission over Stephen Erceg, now of the UFC. Stephen is very durable. I've trained with Stephen multiple times in the past. He's very durable. He's very, aggressive in his attack. So, you get him in something, it's really, really hard to submit him. And, Matthew was able to get that finish, which I think says a lot.
Matt's actually currently he's staying with me while we're here in Perth, and he obviously loves a front headlock, and he hasn't really shut up about it. So if he wins by front headlock, I am not going to hear the end of it.
You're not going to sleep tonight, mate.
No, it's going to be horrible.
Just, get him a few beers, get him drugged up, and hopefully he'll sleep the way through.
Let's get him a Xanax.
That could work too. Pablo invert now. Matthew sits. He's looking for trying to control the leg. It's not quite there, but it's
heel hook attempt, outside heel hook.
Pablo's looking very relaxed in that position, almost the same. There's no hip
control by Matt. He just kind of has a bite on the ankle. He has to watch the bolo here.
Well, that looks like it's a little bit tighter.
That looks like it's tighter now. It's closer to the hip.
Like
if he switches to the reverse figure 4 potential there, he needs to bridge while Pablo's knees facing the sky. So it kind of needs to be slightly towards his left. He could roll towards the right and re-roll potentially. There, this is a better spot if he has the bite, but I think he's lost
the bite, Pablo
now he's got to watch the back take here.
And this is very much in flux now. Pablo has an opportunity here to go on the attack. Matthew needs to recover. He does so. And both men reassess. I
think the one thing that Pablo is incredible at is changing gears at the right time. I feel like Matty's he's currently just in first gear the whole time, and I potentially see a slip up to where Pablo can catch a better position and then start to outgrind. Time will tell.
Absolutely. Matty's not been able to. Pablo's very much played the game where he wants to play, and beautiful.
And now he's behind him.
Beautiful.
He's going to grab me.
And this is where Pablo's so good from these kind of positions. Once he starts to get on the attack, he's very, very hard to stop. Very, very hard to stop. And we can see that now with the leg entanglements. Matty manages to get out, scrambles up front, headlock position. But Pablo does a good job. Body lock, moving out. Both men disengage.
Pablo chooses to disengage. He's ready for a fight.
Yeah, and Pablo, the thing is with Pablo, people see him as a jiu-jitsu-y guy, blah, blah, blah. But, he's training with Jack Della. He's training day in, day out with Josh Della. He's training with Rod Costa, Steve Erceg. These guys are MMA guys.
And they're also phenomenal grapplers.
Grapplers too. But that's right. But also, you've got that jiu-jitsu base, which he's so good at, but he brings other skills that people misunderestimate, and that's the thing. You've got to be well-rounded and be able to bring different skill sets to the table. And Pablo does that, and people don't always see it.
Now, I've always thought Pablo was really good from watching him like coming up the ranks and then competing with him myself.
No, Pablo used to coach at our gym, and we roll with him regularly, and he'd always have the edge over me. We would do, certainly from a jiu-jitsu point of view, and he worked hard on his striking. His striking was an area that he was working to improve on. Certainly for me, I felt much more comfortable standing up with Pablo. But when that hit the ground, you needed to get back to your feet because you just knew his jiu-jitsu would eventually tie you up. A lot of our sparring would often be about who could play the way they wanted to play. I wanted to kickbox, and Pablo would want to grapple. And that was always.
He's definitely one of those guys in Australia that. Has been around the Australian team for so long, but you wish he'd just compete overseas and see how well he'd do on the global scale.
Absolutely.
I've always been very impressed. Matt's really good at that single leg. He loves to slap that head around.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the leg through the middle of the legs when you're wrestling, but he's got a move there which is really effective based on what he's actually doing, which is almost that head gouge from that position, and he gets the takedown. So if it works for you.
I'm always really fearful of getting almost like flying choi barred. Whenever that happens. And I definitely don't want to be armbarred, so.
Yeah, the leg up the middle just plays to judokas. It plays for leg scissors, it plays for uchimatas and stuff like that. But for me, if you get like anything, like every move set has a value, and if you get really, really good at something there, then why not? That's what makes it so different. Our referee, Adam Metcalf, calls a stop to proceedings, and we move back to the centre. Both men evenly matched, would you say?
Yeah, I would say Pablo has gotten behind Matt a couple times. But Matt's dictated the standing to ground battle every single time. Yeah,
absolutely. So difficult one to score, I would say.
Currently, yes. Currently, in my books, it's a draw.
And I would actually agree with you. But
here we have a triangle.
Yeah, we do have a triangle here. This
is going to change.
This is deep, and that is on, and he has that in.
The arm's in a better spot.
Yeah.
But I feel like that has just tipped the scales a little towards Pablo.
I didn't quite see where his arm was. I actually thought his arm was all the way through there, but no, it was more the elbow, wasn't it? Yeah.
It can still be finished in that scenario.
Absolutely. Troy Barrett attempt. Looking for that now, looking for Kimura. And Pablo's guard is
actually, Matty has tried to go for leg lock, so I would say that
a bit even,
There's a potential steamer lock there.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Pablo, isn't it? You know what I mean? His guard is a difficult question to answer. You know,
Look at that flexibility.
And the version, just super relaxed and super enjoying himself and not under any pressure whatsoever. You know, as I said, he is battle testing him up against some of the best.
Super composed as a competitor, and also one of those guys that I talk about that's just really nice. I remember when he beat me, he was like super nice. I was like, please don't be nice to me, let me hate you.
No, he's, you know, the thing is, he is a nice bloke, but don't get it twisted. There's a steel underneath, which, you know, actually is around competition, and Pablo will look for the people who are causing a problem in Perth, or like literally, you know, we were on a tear, and he will call them out. You know, I remember. I remember him. You know, he's Quillan Clarke, currently the eternal.
Very nice pass there.
Beautiful pass. You know, current eternal MMA champion. But you know, when he was on his rise up, Pablo called him out and beat him very convincingly in the MMA stage. You know.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't know that about Pablo.
Yeah, it was a really good match. Really good match. But Pablo was able, like anything, you know, if Quillan had been able to keep it on the feet, probably would have went one way. But Pablo was able to enact his game plan. And now he has
a front headlock position on Matty. He's going to be trying to head behind.
The
Peruvian necktie. There's Peruvian necktie.
That's in. That looks dangerous.
If Pablo can hamstring curl a bit more, it's going to be definitely on. It looks like it's on currently, but Matt looks like he's pretty strong with that posture. It's definitely a little on, though.
It is on, and he is struggling with a little belly taps. Beautiful work from Pablo Torrealba. Beautiful finish.
I feel bad about speaking badly about Matt, about talking too much now.
Right, but the thing is, you know, your strength can sometimes also be your weakness. You know what I mean? You focus so much on the attack.
Yeah, I mean, you can tunnel vision very easily.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner by Peruvian necktie, fighting out of the red corner, Pablo Torrealba!
So Matty, a tough pill to swallow to lose to this man. I'm familiar with that feeling. He's also beaten me. In regards to the match, you started out real strong. You looked really good at the start. And I'm not sure if you started feeling a little bit more disheartened as you got closer to your back, or if it started to change, you started to get tired. Let's walk us through the match in your point of view.
Yeah, look, I think Pablo obviously did an excellent job at avoiding any sitting up for front headlock attacks, obviously. I thought I had that heel hook for sure, and then realised he already had the knee wedge under my ass, so I couldn't hip in. And I was all forearm squeeze on that ankle, and I just thought, maybe I need to eject before he takes my back. So I did. We reset. I felt I was winning the wrestling engagement. He thought he was tying me out with those collar ties. I was just waiting for him to get comfy to stand upright so I could shoot that single. Worked every time, so I was pretty happy. But then I got a little too relaxed in that turtle position. I thought he was going to go for my back again. So I kind of sat there rather than ejecting and standing up, like I always say you should probably do. So I should listen to my own advice, and I probably wouldn't have got caught in that Peruvian.
Yeah, the Peruvian neckties are rarer from front headlock subs, but it definitely exists. In regards to future plans, what's next for you?
Well, next is Pablo's going to buy me a beer and apologise for hurting my feelings. And then we're going to delicately cuddle later. So, no, look, the next on the plans is to go back on the drawing board and just work on those little areas where I'm making small mistakes. I mean, I only just got my black belt in December last year, so it's a big up. This man's been a black belt for a very long time, high-level competitor. That's obviously why I wanted the match with him as well, you know, best in Perth in my weight category, so arguably one of the better black belts in Australia. I wanted to test myself and push it. Yeah, I mean, what's next? Get a couple of wins and come back, and maybe me and Pablo can do it again for that spinny belt. That'd be a bit of fun.
Well, we hope to see you again, Matt, and good work today.
Thank you. Thanks, Perth. Love you guys.
Nah, bro, we can come down. Are you pretty tired?
Yeah, I'm pretty gassed.
You looked completely fine, to be honest. Was it just a poker face?
No. So my plan was to do what he did to me in the first few minutes. I thought I was going to put it on him, and then I realized he was pushing me back. And then when we had that first scramble, I ended up getting back to my feet. I could see him; he seemed pretty fresh, and I realized that he was making me carry the weight. So, no, it definitely wasn't fresh. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was an incredible performance. Obviously, we've competed against each other. We don't have to talk about it. And we had a great match. Like, I had a great moment with you in Tam, and I always talk about it. It was a very special match to me. It was my first time competing in Perth. Yeah, we got a photo where we're both in the air. None of us are grounded. Anyway, enough about me. What's next for you coming up, man?
To be honest, life is getting pretty hectic right now. Not in a bad way, in a really, really good way. But I'm probably going to take a little bit of a step back from competing as much as I normally do. No, I'll still compete. It's just other things have to take up my time. It's like we bought a house recently, and I didn't realize how much work goes into when you buy a house. There's so much stuff I got to do, and I'm just neglecting it all. So definitely, like, until I can't compete anymore, until this falls apart, I'll still be competing. But probably for the next year or so, I'm probably just going to take it easy, get the rest of the things in order, and then come back.
Well, it's super important to have a work-life balance, and we hope to see you sooner than later, man. Awesome work today.
Can I just say one thing? So the reason I went for that exotic submission is because of what Matt said yesterday. And he mentioned that he's extremely well-rounded. And I had a match recently, went for something exotic, and it ended up shooting me in the foot because the guy was so well-rounded. I knew that if I tried to take his back, it was going to be tough. I knew I probably wasn't going to be able to hold or at least get attacks on. Either I took mount, he's probably going to be super well-versed. So it was always going to be like twisters, banana splits, stuff like this. So the reason I went for that is because of the amount of respect I had for Matt, because I knew that his jiu-jitsu, the basics, it was all going to be super solid. It was going to, like, I couldn't even take his back when I got to his back at the start. And back is like one of my best positions. So I know I'm going with this, but yeah, exotic submissions.
Stop being so nice and let us hate you. Good job, dude.